let me get started. My name is Ray Lutz. I'm with Citizens Oversight, and we're here before this very amazing meeting that we're having about the San Onofre nuclear power plant. This meeting is basically a proposal by Edison to restart the plant, even with a lot of unknowns about what's going on. They really don't know the root cause. They said that it's excessive velocity of the steam, but we know that can't be the real root cause. I can probably hold that too. Yeah, let me just do that instead of having to have to reach in there. So we know that you have to go back. And I asked this question in the last two meetings, what is the root cause? Because we know that the steam instability is not it. Something had to cause that. Something caused the high steam velocity. Something had to, then what caused that, and so forth. You work back, and I'll tell you what it is. I'll eliminate the mystery. What caused this was a bad design by Edison engineers with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. They blew it, and they blew it really badly. It's another one of those shortcuts that they tried to take by not having any public, review. No license amendment was done because they worked around it. In fact, they admitted it. They said our goal is to work around this public review, this license amendment of what we're doing. And it turns out, I'll just tell you, I've been doing some research on this because Citizens Oversight is in the process of being a intervener in the current license amendment that they've started. Back from 1981, the NRC started a process of becoming more secretive and less transparent. And they said, we're having way too many hearings. We got to stop all this public review. So first of all, he said, we're going to make it really hard to have public hearings. You got to be, have standing that's really severe. They say you have to actually be injured. Not just hypothetical, but a real injury. I think that's waiting a bit too long to be actually injured. Okay. And then, so they make it really, really hard, and then they don't have a hearing. The thing that I'm going to next Wednesday is called a pre-hearing conference. It isn't a real hearing. They want to try to not have those hearings. It's been a lot of work to get around them. Secondly, they orchestrate everything so that they're taking details out of the technical specifications of the license. A whole bunch of stuff is being pulled out. And then into a licensee controlled document. And then the end result is they can change those all they want, and it doesn't require a license amendment. Guess what? No hearings on that either. And so and this is what we're actually complaining about in this case, because at the San Onofre plant, what they proposed last July was to eliminate all of the surveillance frequency specifications throughout the whole document, hundreds of them. So they say you need to check the reactor cooling system, say every 12 hours to make sure it's running right. Well, they say, we're just going to eliminate that 12-hour specification and move that over to the licensee document and let them change that all they want. They can then move it up to maybe 24 hours or a week before they check things. Let's say they need to check it more often. If we looked at what the steam generator problem happened, it ended up in an hour, really almost blowing up. So that's what this challenge is about. And that happened back in 2001 at this Connecticut plant, where they're having effluent coming out of the plant. And they said, you're putting that spec into the licensee control document. We can no longer have hearings. And they said, too bad. Basically there was a little bit of dispute about it. So it's going to be interesting, and we're handing out little leaflets so that you can at least view that. It's not going to be a public meeting. We tried to get them to have it in a venue so people could join in and be there, but the only thing that they'll be doing is webcasting it, and I'm not going to Maryland. Well, today we have, I'll let some other people describe what's going on here because I've probably talked enough, but we do have Southern California Edison trying to explain why they should restart Unit 2 even though nothing's been really done to assure us that it's safe. What I'd like to do is let one of the other volunteers here, Gene, why don't you come up and explain what you've been doing today, especially the report, and maybe have your gentleman come up. The Buddhist monks like to come up and maybe say a few words. This is Gene Stone.
Yeah, that's...
Go ahead and bring him on.
Well, Lori, leave the little map one. 3 big ones.
So, my name is Gene Thompson, resident of National State Environment, and today we had a Buddhist peace walk led by our 3 brothers here, and I would like to introduce these fine people, but I'm not going to mess up their names, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Please come over here closer, and they can tell you a little bit about their order and why they came here today.
Good afternoon. My name is Kanaeda Senji. I'm originally from Japan, and I live in Seattle, Washington State. So this particular activity, we started to think about and organize this from originally last year. After we have a catastrophic event in Fukushima's nuclear power plant, and I saw that we should have more like a strong focus to stop the nuclear power plant, also any like a nuclear energy, nuclear weapon, including nuclear weapons. So, and then we last year we walked in San Luis Obispo and Diablo Canyon to Bay Area, and then in that year also we should walk at one more nuclear power plant in the Pacific Ocean side. So, and finally we could do it this year. And our purpose is just very simple. We have to pass the safe world, safe society, safe future to the next generation. And because we are Buddhists, life is more sacred, not just only human beings, animal and bird and flowers and everything. So, and but a very simple thing is about human beings, humankind is never realized this, and we had so many wars, so many pollution we created. So, and this particular time we would like to gather, especially the Japan and America is a brother and sister, related to through the Pacific Rim. So. I know that this area is a very natural situation that's very similar to Japan. So, and then I would like to do something with American citizen as one of the person who lives in this country. So that's why I came here.
Anyone else?
My name is Ryosen Sawada. Also, I'm from Japan. Also, I was from Fukushima. I was born about 40 miles south of Japan. And my brother and family is still there. And now I'm living in Los Angeles. And I heard news, you have many activity to shut down San Onofre. And I wanted to join you to send focus to make nuclear-free world. Because issue of nuclear stuff. Humanity cannot live with any nuclear bomb or nuclear power plant. So that's why finally you have been keeping this activity. Your activity brought us to join you. I believe American people only could stop to these madness because of you are creative. You tested nuclear bomb and you dropped Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But we have some connection towards future. Make a peaceful society. And one of the most, he is a very long time against nuclear power plant in Japan. And he mentioned about in the nuclear power plant in reactor, nuclear war happening in the reactor. Because I believe no one likes to drop the nuclear bomb anymore. Same cycle activity happening in the reactor. That is we have to realize. And I'm very grateful to meet you today. And I like to keep in touch with you, and I like to involve more with you to shut down. That is, I think, the most urgent human issue. So that's why I came. He organized this, and you have been keeping this movement. Doesn't matter how many, because truth is with us. So, thank you very much.
You have to something.
Thank you, keep listening our story. My name is June. I just came from New York State, but I just came back from Japan last month. So I have lots of story from suffering from Fukushima. And the same story is New York State, because New York State we have several nuclear power plant, but earthquake coming, typhoon, hurricane is not far away. Same suffering from Fukushima, and Fukushima is now still going on, and no any place to dumping nuclear waste. Is no anything to solution. So we don't want anybody suffering no more like Fukushima. So that's the reason I came to here, to following your people, your consciousness. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we heard it all. My name is Gilberto Perez. I'm at the Temple in Washington State, where we have nuclear submarines. And if you're familiar with the history of Cuba, we came this close to using nuclear weapons. Don't forget that we still have lots of nuclear weapons to destroy the Earth 5 times, maybe more. We have nuclear plants that are 40, 50 years old. As our sister nun and brothers monk said, there's no place to hide. It kills everything. No children, no birds, no air, no food. You can't run, you can't see it. No evacuation plan. Thank you. And we play games with politics. You don't talk about it. You don't debate about it. You keep it to the corporations to make more money. Not thinking about public health and public safety, including our children most of all. And Mother Earth. As we said by Brother Monks, all life is sacred. That's why we walk and pray. Politics hasn't done it. Perhaps our prayers and chanting and the support from angels here, you're all angels, to be aware of this, to take care of others who are not seeing. And I, again, in Spanish, muchas gracias, te amo, te quiero, y muchas gracias por venir. Gracias.
So, again, this is an answer to my personal prayer. These guys calling up and saying they wanted to come because I was wondering, in the work that I've done over the years, how is it that we can bring the sacred into this movement? Because we all know it's sacred, because we know the earth is sacred, and we know human life is sacred, and all life on the planet is sacred. And the bottom line is not how much money Edison makes or spreads around to our communities to make their behavior acceptable. Nuclear power is inappropriate in this day and age, and we don't need it. And we're here today with our friends, our brothers and sisters, our monks from the Buddhist tradition, to say that enough is enough and that this process has to go forward. It cannot be about corporations any longer. And at this meeting, we're here to demand an adjudicated public hearing under oath here near us, and demand our full legal participation in the process. And the only way to do that is for each of you, no matter how many times I've bugged you already to write to the commissioners, write them again. Call them up. You should be sending an email every week to all 5 commissioners demanding an adjudicated public hearing. And then you should call them up just after you send the email, because emails are too easy. Call them up. Spend a little time. Get them on the phone. They're human beings. We can reach them, you know, and we can reach them by the humanness that our Buddhist friends have shown us here today in this walk this morning. And so not only the example of the walk today being a prayerful walk, this could be a prayerful activity. This is a sacred activity for all of us. We are the few here today that stand up for the 7 generations to come, for our children, for our earth, and nobody else is going to do it if we don't do it. And we can convince them. We're making progress. We've had a lot of good progress, but it's only that. The game is still like playing dice at the casino, you know, and we've got to work harder. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Chief.
I think it's right. Oh. Yeah, maybe that's nice to see you guys weathering the storm so good. I wish we could have been invited in at the Hills Hotel, but that didn't work out. And I'm amazed at your determinedness to stay out here with us. Thank you very much. I want to make it pretty brief, but I should introduce myself. My name's Gary Hedrick, and I'm the co-founder with my wife of San Clemente Green. And we didn't start out as an anti-nuclear group. We wanted to create a more sustainable world. But whistleblowers came to us because they knew we would protect their identity, and we've established relationships with people over the last 2 years that have been heroic in putting their own well-being at risk so that the public would be aware of dangerous situations that otherwise we would just be blindly trusting the industry. And not to review the whole history of what that means in terms of factual information that they've provided for us, but as recently as last night, I was on a phone with a whistleblower, and I asked him if I could patch him into another conversation with Tom Zeller of the Huffington Post. And so we had an amazing conversation, and it had to do with incredible things. When you think about what we're here today for, to hear the NRC talk about, should we start up this reactor at 70% without having fixed it, and the only way we know if something's wrong is if it leaks radiation into the environment. I mean, that alone is ridiculous. On top of that, we have a situation now at San Onofre where in backup safety systems of diesel generators have been tampered with. It's really called sabotage. It's not tampering. Someone has intentionally gone in to make the diesel generators so they won't work if we needed them in an emergency. And that is so frightening that it's only the tip of the iceberg, because if somebody did it once somewhere, what else is going on? How do we know for sure that something's not going to fail disastrously if they're allowed to start up Unit 2 again? So that part of the conversation was interesting, because before it was theoretical. And what the whistleblower told us is that Edison made announcements at the beginning of their workday, saying that it's no longer a question if that was an intentional tampering or not. They believe it was tampering, and they're going to bring the FBI in to investigate it. But you and I, would not have known that if this whistleblower wasn't telling us. So we'd go into this meeting blindly trusting Edison and NRC, and be totally vulnerable to whatever this maniac inside San Onofre that would do something so desperate. But it's not unusual. That's what we found out from Dave Lochbaum of the Union of Concerned Scientists. He says there are other examples of workers being so frustrated and being mistreated that there are cases where people have actually thrown coins into machinery or tampered with things with the intent of doing harm. So that's the situation we're facing today. It's gotten much more intensified, and to add to the anxiety and stress of where we're at this particular time in history, trying to prevent what our Buddhist friends have said, the sacred, responsibility we have to future generations, let alone ourselves. They have plans. Edison has set the work schedule to restart Unit 2 on February 2nd. So this is serious business here. Whatever it is, they know that if they've been talking to the NRC or something, they are convinced that February 2nd is a real date where they're going to be ready to start if they can get approval. And I think when you put all these things together and you realize that we've gone through over a year, or at least close to a year, and through the hot summer without this nuclear power, what the heck are we thinking of? We can't allow them to restart, and that's why we're here. And I can't say it any stronger than that. We just have to stand firm, stand together, and make sure this doesn't happen. Too many people are counting on us. Thank you.
Ray, can I be your holder, or do you want to?
Oh, no,
okay.
no, if you want to hold it, yeah, that's going to hold it.
Got you covered.
You want me to hold this?
Hi, my name is Donna Gilmore. I live in San Clemente, a few miles from the nuclear plant. A couple of years ago, I was enjoying our normally unrainy weather, and read in the local newspaper that employees were being retaliated against for reporting safety problems to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. So after that, I did a lot of investigation. And what I found was not only are employees reporting problems to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, but they have the highest rate of any nuclear plant in the country of complaints by employees to the NRC. And employees only go to the NRC when their own management doesn't listen to them anymore. And the employees warned us about these steam generators. And there's a chart below me. Do we need to raise the chart? Or employees warned us that there were problems with these steam generators, and nobody listened. So are we not going to listen again? Now we have these red lines. These are the San Onofre steam generators. This is Unit 3. This is Unit 2. And the little tiny ones you can hardly see, those are all the rest of the reactors in the United States that have steam generators. And these lines represent the number of tubes in these generators that they had to plug because they were defective. And they've run less than 2 years. These others have run for years with no problems. And yet they're having a meeting here to try and figure out if, well, let's just run it at a little lower power and see if it fixes. They don't want to fix these generators because they've already spent close to $1 million on these, and they don't have a cheap way to fix them. So their plan is, well, let's just start it up and see what happens. This is ridiculous. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission should be requiring Edison to do a license amendment process. Nothing short of that. this meeting is a joke. This meeting shouldn't even be happening. All you have to do is look at this chart and know this is not a typical situation. We need a license amendment process. We get a hearing. We'd be able to have independent experts who are currently being ignored that have said that these generators are lemons. And I have another chart here. Okay. And this is a chart for the last 5 years of complaints to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission about safety problems. And you see the red lines on the far right, that's San Onofre again. And the blue lines, those are all the rest of the plants in the entire country. And the NRC has done nothing. It's been 5 years. Okay, we have 5 commissioners on the NRC. It's about time they do their job. We have a new chairman, Chairman McFarlane. Chairman, just look at these charts. What else do you need to know? Governor Brown, where's your voice on this? You do not want your legacy to be Fukushima USA, but that's what we're headed for unless somebody does something soon. Thank you very much.
That's why it's so important to be brave.
Okay, thank you very much, Don. I appreciate that. Now, you know what's really important? People have asked me, what does it do for us to be out here? Is this important? This is really important. I'll tell you why. People on the inside of the NRC and these other companies get covered by seeing that other people are against it. Like if we didn't have this, they'd say, oh, well, I've got to do my job and salute and follow the leader even though I know what I'm doing is wrong. And now they can say, well, look, I know that other people are against this too, so maybe I should be against it, and no, I'm not going to necessarily do it then. And guess what? I don't lose my job as a result because I can see other people are concerned. So it's really, really important for the public to be involved in this. Far too often throughout the history of this NRC, no one has shown up and taken the time to really engage with them. Well, I think the time is that we should probably proceed and get set up before we lose our seats inside. Is there anyone else that would you like to sing your song one more time up here?
Can I add one last thing?
Of course.
Sorry, well, while we're setting up on that, I forgot a really important factor of my conversation last night with the employee, the nuclear operator at San Onofre. He was telling me about the problems with the union, and the union has totally flipped from being supportive of Edison, and they're saying to Edison, we have letters of this, the union leader saying, we don't believe it's safe to restart Unit 2. I mean, these are the workforce. So I just want to make sure you got that message too. Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. Gene, why don't you make your comment real quick? I think this is pretty important.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that also the Buddhist monks are going to be here for another 8 days with us, starting on Saturday at about 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8 o'clock, down at the beach by the pier. We will be praying and fasting for the next 7 days. Everyone is welcome to come and join us during that fast. You don't have to be fasting, but you can come join us in the prayer and partake for however long that you wish, and then each day until the 7th, except I think we're taking a break on the 3rd. So please come and join us at any of those opportunities as well. Thank you.
Okay, couple of logistics things. We have bumper stickers that say "Shut Down San Onofre" with the Scream Man on there. The Scream, what is that, radiation symbol. That's really effective, by the way. I think people see that and it really sticks with them. And then we have again an announcement that next Wednesday, the 5th of December, is the intervention hearing at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, which you can view on your computer. I have flyers for that, so I need volunteers to get those flyers handed out to every possible person who comes to this meeting so that we get as many, because they know exactly how many people are viewing. In fact, get a few computers in your place going at the same time so we get more numbers viewing. And that's the first step of this intervention process, and we'll see how it goes. That's first time for me. Okay, well, let's again introduce Tommy.
Oh, gosh. Chris Blanchard. on guitar. Okay. Whenever I hear people say, let's restart San Onofre, when life and death, our very breath, are what's at stake, they talk of tube fluidity, elastic instability, and Fukushima rises like a mushroom-headed snake. What part of Fukushima do you not understand when nuclear contamination hits the fan? Plutonium is everywhere, it's in the sea, it's in the air, and we don't even have any evacuation plan. What part of Fukushima do you not understand? What part of Fukushima did you somehow miss when it sure is shooting every time in things like this? Destruction rages like a flame, officials play and spin the blame, and all of us are bracing, facing the abyss. What part of Fukushima did you somehow miss? Humankind is humankind, and we all make mistakes. Hard sometimes to not be blind and fall for fakes. But with the facts before our eyes, and in the sea, and in the skies, you know we best prioritize air, water. Come on guys, what part of Fukushima do you need clarified? What happens when the plate tectonics slip and slide? And then it blows, what happens then? It isn't if, you know it's when, with everybody petrified, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. What part of Fukushima do you not understand? What even then can FEMA ever do to lend a hand? The time to make the break is now, to wind and wave and solar power. If we're gonna live, nuclear power must be banned. What part of Fukushima? It's no time to be a dreamer. It's no time to be a schemer. What part of Fukushima do you not understand? Google Fukushima, take a stand.
We all get our three moving message. So it's a crystal ballroom. Before we go, I want to get everybody to practice this. Ready? No restart, shut it down. Ready? No restart, shut it down. No restart, shut it down. Okay, we're going to go in, and I'm going to start you on that, and I want you to join with me on that cheer inside before the meeting starts, so they can't say that we're, interrupting their meeting. You'll get the message loud and clear. Okay, Crystal Ballroom is upstairs. Thank you, everybody. Let's give everybody a hand who spoke today. I really appreciate it.